Some other reaction tonight from President Biden posted to social media. This measure was a blatant attempt to weaken voters' voices, he says in a quote, and further erode the freedom of women to make their own health care decisions. Tonight, democracy won.
And now to more of the politics of the vote and a look at what's next. Mark Naymik, our Channel 3 contributor and managing editor of Signal Cleveland, joins us now to talk about it. Mark, always good to see you.
Good evening, Russ.
It looks like this issue was defeated in many Republican counties as well as, of course, in many Democratic counties. But as we talked about earlier, both sides are now gearing up for November.
Yeah, issue one was about abortion, really. It is leading, issue one was going to make it harder to change the Constitution, but there is a constitutional amendment on the November ballot to add abortion rights. So this was kind of the precursor. Both sides have said we're going to keep fighting. They're going to be around. You're going to see some of the same groups, same donors, and they're already looking to November.
The Democrats in this case can claim a rare statewide win. We've already seen some Democratic response. Sherrod Brown tonight, of course, talking about what a big win this is for the Democratic Party. In your mind, how big a win is this? You
know, not since 2011 has there been this much unity and organization among the Democratic Party and their allies like the unions. That's when they defeated a collective bargaining controversial issue that was on the ballot and really gave them some momentum. They're talking about trying to keep that. I talked to the Democratic Party chair this past week, and she said, you know, we're going to try to harness that and mobilize heading right into November, so that continues. A lot of that was driven by union get out the vote efforts.
Republican Secretary of State Frank LaRose was the face of issue one, and on social media and other places, he's being seen as someone who lost tonight. But you say all is not necessarily lost.
Yeah, there is a silver lining for Frank LaRose. He leaned in hard into this issue because it's a way to win over the conservative base in the Republican Party. You need that in order to get through a crowded primary. He is facing a couple of opponents. I don't think he's going to back away from saying, I stood strong on this issue. Now, with moderate voters, I think you're going to see him get beat up. Many pundits say he is one of the losers tonight, but I think he's got a little bit that he can stand on.
Finally, I want to ask you about Cuyahoga County. 80% voted no in Cuyahoga County. That is not surprising, but turnout was pretty high, around 38% that we know of so far. What could that high turnout mean for Democrats moving forward in Cuyahoga County?
Well, it means that the party's awakened again. For a long time, it was looked at as the lead county in the state. It's lost that status because the party hasn't been as organized. I think this time around, unions, activists, and others have really led it. They've got to harness that. They also need to grow Cleveland. Cleveland turned out a little bit stronger than they have recently, but there's still a lot of connection that has to be made between leaders and those Cleveland voters, because you got to get the tally up if you're a Democrat here to help balance out against rural counties. The Democratic Party will celebrate tonight, but I think reality hits tomorrow because it's still a red state if you look at voting patterns.
As we said at the top of this discussion, now off to November.
Yes.
Mark Naymik, as always, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
And for complete results from tonight's special election and more insight into voter turnout, you can go to our website, WKYC.com.